Hey, thank you for joining us for the NSPMA Executive or Educational Webinar. I want to encourage you to visit nspma.com and visit our website in the media section where you'll find other webinars that we do throughout the year. And of course, this one will be posted in a very short period of time. The National School Plant Management Association, NSPMA, represents school plant managers, facilitators, and directors across the United States and promotes excellence in education through professional facility management. I'm Gregory L. Lookaball. I'm part of the Education Committee, joined with Chris Crockett from Kansas City and Gloria Aguiar from California. Our theme for today is all things NSPMA, and our guest presenter today is Ken Wirtz. He's the NSPMA Executive Director. He'll be covering some of the 2026 conference details like hotels and booths, booth sales, mapping, registration, vendor attendees, and attendees, how to get in and be a part of this, and of course, partnerships. Member benefits and the value of NSPMA membership, NSPMA partnerships that we have across the nation, for example, healthy schools, indoor air quality work that we're doing as a national organization, and he'll share the vision of NSPMA and the future where we're going. So Ken, welcome, and let's get started today.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. I'm finally home, so that's a good thing. It's been a busy time, and thank you everyone for logging in. I know you've got a million things you can do, so time spent with us. I'm going to try and do my best to get through updates on what we got going on, so I can get you back to your lives. But excited to have you all with us. Chris and Greg and Gloria asked me to just give a quick update of what we've been doing, what we've been seeing around the country. So the fall has been a whirlwind for me. I've been to Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Ohio. During the summer, I was in Vermont, I was in Maine, and this Sunday I'm flying out to DC. So I'm as your part-time executive director, my family thinks it's quite laughable that I'm a full-time lunatic just going around everywhere trying to help as many people and see what's going on. I've seen some great things. I've seen some states that most states are struggling financially, but the thing that kind of provides me with hope is that everyone that was in attendance at these state associations, whether it's Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, doesn't matter, everyone's there trying to do better with what they have. So hats off to everyone that's out there fighting the good fight every day in the trenches because what we do matters. And that's kind of the stuff that I've been talking about and doing a lot of public speaking for different associations. And just keep in mind, if your association's hosting an event and you need some speakers, if my schedule allows, I'm happy to come and help support. That's part of what we do. That's part of what I do. If your association or your group is having an event coming up that you want to share with everyone, email me, exec@nspma.org. I'll put it on our calendar on our webpage. If we don't know about it, I can't post it. So it's been working really well that some of the states, some of the affiliates we have, New Jersey, Missouri, Virginia, we're able to get their information up and out there. And what it's doing, it's allowing everyone to see, like, oh, well, I'm in Ohio, but I could drive to Pittsburgh, sure. Um, which has been a very cool thing that we've started to change with our website. Speaking of our webpage, we are in the throes of a rebuild. Part of my entry plan when I started out as executive director 2 years ago was to try and figure out, what are we bringing to the table? What's our value? And we heard a resounding, cry from our membership. Well, we don't know what your value is. You don't have a good web page that we can interact with. You don't have a great digital footprint. You're a national association. So we've taken all of those recommendations and we have rolled out some new initiatives, one of which is to build out a website that's going to be, I don't want to say state of the art because that's overused. It's going to be a current website that folks can have login opportunities if you're a member. So there'll be a public side for general information for the general public, but then there's also the member side, which is going to give you access to member directories so you can email colleagues across the country. We'll have different training modules up there, different resources, RFQs that you can share with people. So we're trying to build out a bigger footprint, a library, a digital archive. That's really going to be something that we're pushing forward. So hopefully hopefully we'll be there by end of January so we can do a big launch announcement and kind of do an info. Um, the other thing that we're working on behind the scenes is a monthly newsletter. We've partnered with Naylor Associates to help us make sure that we're having a newsletter that's out there that has current and relevant information. A lot of states have newsletters, and a lot of those newsletters drive specifically towards state initiatives, which I think is amazing. What we're going to try and do is have our newsletter be more national. So that way we can share some stories that are going on in different states, but we're also going to be highlighting some of the initiatives we're working on at the national and federal level. Um, some of our partners, Greg mentioned them earlier. We've co-signed on a couple of grants through EPA to be co-sponsors and supporters of a couple of different cool initiatives. USGBC, we're working on indoor air quality with their team. The group at Rhode Island Department of Education, the HEAL project, we're working with them. We signed on to be members of CAUSE, the Healthy Index for schools. There's a bunch that we're working on right now that are national organizations, either profit nonprofit world, that are hyper focused on how we're going to improve the conditions in our schools, which is really, really cool. And some folks may have even been lucky enough to land on the short list to be working with the Government Accountability Office. We've been working with them for what, Greg? Past year and a half, 2 years now. And what they're doing is they're going to be sending out a survey to figure out how much loss in learning time was caused by a facility. And we've had lengthy discussions with the folks at GAO. And I think they're sending out a survey to 750 different schools that kind of cover all demographics, whether it's the small rural community in the Ozark Mountains to Chicago public schools and everyone in between. So they can get a good feel of what's going on and report back to Congress and say, we need more funding, we need more appropriations, we need to do a better job on our infrastructure, not just on our roads and bridges, but in our public schools. So we're hopeful. That report, unfortunately, got a little bit delayed with the shutdown, but they were targeting for spring. I think some folks from GAO are going to be at our conference in Kansas City this coming April. So we're working closely with them and a lot of other different groups to try and push our voices forward. The big push is actually going to be Sunday. I was lucky enough to kind of partner up with the National Council on School Facilities. Brendan Payne, their executive director, has been a gracious, gracious ally of ours. And I've been invited to the invite only National Council on School Facilities Summit in DC, Sunday to Wednesday. And there's state leaders from across the country coming in just to talk about schools and about infrastructure and about the road we're going to be moving forward on and about preventative maintenance training. We have a day on the Hill. We're going to go talk to some Congress folk and some lobbyists. So it's an opportunity for us to have a seat at the table. And when I go around and talk with other affiliate associations, members tend to look at tangible things in front of them. Well, what do we get for being a member of NSPMA? What do I get? Do I get a pen? Do I get a login? What's in it for me? And there are some things that we can correlate and get right out to you. We can provide professional development training, webinars, things of that nature. But really, what the national is and part of our vision is we're bringing a voice to the conversation that we haven't had before. And that's not something you can necessarily see. I'll do better at updating folks about some of the work that we're doing. But those are the inherent baked in initiatives we're working on behind the scenes that are going to benefit all schools across the country. I was just in Columbus, Ohio for Ed Spaces and campus safety. They co-branded a summit, and I was on a panel presentation there from the campus safety side of the house. And it's all people who are national recognized speakers, leaders in their industry, talking about how to make schools safer, and leveraging those networks that we're creating to bring those people to our events. So we have a couple of folks that I've worked with that are great colleagues who are the part of the National Council of School Facilities, part of different initiatives across the country. That now we have access to them to bring them in as speakers, as people who are seeing more than just what's happening in Tennessee, or more than just what's happening in Illinois. Um, the other thing that's doing is I had a good meeting with the executive director for Ed Spaces, And as we continue to grow and continue to evolve, and they continue to grow and continue to evolve, to see if there's some opportunities for some synergies for us to partner together on things. I'm going to be meeting with Jim Rowan, the executive director for International ASBO, in January, so we can talk what can we do more on the national level with International ASBO as well. So it's trying to make strategic partnerships. If anyone out there has ideas or has someone that I need to speak to or we need to speak to as a board, please email us. It takes a village, it really does. So it's trying to kind of plug in some of the holes, and part of our goal and part of our work that we've unfolded over the past 2 years is trying to figure out how to meet everyone where they're at. So Missouri school plant managers knocking it out of the park. New Jersey, Kansas knocking it out of the park. There's some groups that are really powerful and doing some amazing things. Charlie Branham in Missouri just launched. They're going to be offering some preventative maintenance training and certification programs coming up over the next year. They're running a pilot program. That's exactly what we're talking about next week in DC. So they're spearheading things that DC is still far behind on. But then again, we have some smaller states like Vermont, Maine, Pennsylvania, some different groups, and we had a member from an attendee in D.C. from West Fargo, North Dakota, that has nothing. So it's how do we as a national association support everyone, no matter where they are on their journey for facilities excellence. So we're trying to do some more virtual learning, some different virtual training. We're trying to create some strategic partnerships for some online content that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Whether our friends at Buckeye or our friends at Hilliard, whomever has something already set, ready to go and relevant, maybe we can partner with them and figure out how to get that information to our members, regardless of who you're using and buying your product from. So we have a ton coming up. Uh, like Greg had mentioned, we're going to post our webinars on our YouTube page. So follow our YouTube page. It's up on our website. You can click it. You can follow it. The other thing that we're going to be doing is I also have linked it to some other association YouTube pages. So there is some relevant information up there, which will help and benefit anyone. If anyone has something they'd love to share, get it to me. I'm happy to post it for you, because we all do better when we're all sharing and kind of keeping an eye on the prize here together. Um, Monthly newsletters coming out, so hopefully within the next month or two we'll have that information. If someone has something they want to share, if you get it to us early enough, we can certainly put it in our newsletter. If not, we can certainly get it in the next round. But just make sure any events or anything that you want to share with folks, you get to us so we can get it on our calendars. What did I miss? I
Uh,
don't think I
I
missed.
think,
The only thing I think I
no,
missed
I do think that,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead,
one
Greg.
thing you said that was very important. You said, as a national organization, we're a voice to the conversation nationally.
Yeah,
That's pretty powerful.
it's
That's a very powerful statement.
it's been very humbling, the meetings I find myself in. Luckily for me, coming from where I was before as the executive director for the Massachusetts Association, I network my face off. So I try to meet the right people, and a lot of that network transferred over to the national, and which opened doors for me to meet other people as well. So I mean, it's really great. And when I go to these events, it's eye-opening for people when I share our side of the story, because the general public has a different perspective on what school maintenance is compared to the people who are boots on the ground. So being able to bridge that communication and move the conversation even a little bit, even moving that needle just a little bit and making people aware, hey, it's not all that easy, and here's what we're dealing with. I was just in Massachusetts at their event 2 weeks ago. 60 facilities directors in the room. Every one of them said it's harder to manage and operate newer buildings than it is our older ones. If you have a brand new, built 2025 LEED certified, you're spending more time maintaining that facility than you are your 1950s building that has steam heat.
Mhm.
And the general public thinks, oh, new building, less work. So it's having our voice brought to those conversations to raise awareness that sometimes people are trying to do good things and making decisions based on what they think is best. But like with anything else, you don't know what you don't know. So you might
Mhm.
think that your idea could be the best thing ever, but if you've never been a facilities director, a supervisor, a custodial supervisor, a HVAC technician, it, it doesn't always correlate. Their recommendations and the best practices and things of that nature don't always tie in. That's some of the other stuff that we're working on that is I'm not a big fan of pushing the word best practice. I think it's ridiculous, based on the fact that public
Mhm.
schools in the US are not funded for best practice. Uh, we just aren't. We're funded for good enough practice. So stop making people
Mhm.
feel like, oh, I'm just not achieving things. Like, no, you need to do the best you can with the funding that you have. So what does that look like? Well, best practices change your filters 4 times a year. You can't afford that. Minimum, you need to do them at least once a year. And when you do them right. Vacuum out the unit, lubricate the bearings, make sure you're putting the filter in the right way, put in the filter stops, all the things you have to do, all the critical items to do a project correctly, do those. But we know that you can't do it 4 times a year. So stop telling them, oh, you need to follow best practice. Like we just can't. And those are some of the interesting conversations that keep coming up. How to squeeze as much as we can with what we have, but feel good about the work we're doing because there are people out there doing really, really good work. It's just that they're woefully underfunded, woefully understaffed, and it's hard to represent exceptional work when you're being funded for a C-level report card.
Mhm. Very true.
So those are some of the conversations we're having. It's been great. And some of the folks you'll see, a great segue is for our annual conference. Last year we held it in DC. And for folks that have been with NSPMA in years past, we've kind of stripped everything down to bare bones and rebuilt it from ground up. We are no longer partnering with affiliate states. It used to be a co-branded event. Last year was our first year hosting it on our own, which is why we chose our country's capital. Just seemed to make sense. The vendors that are on the floor are all national vendors and national reps, so they can help support anyone across the country. No more. It worked for years until it didn't. There's too much time on task at work for someone to fly halfway across the country to connect with vendors that we're never going to have to work with. I flew in from Boston and went to Nashville back when I was a facilities director back in the good old days, Greg. And
Mhm.
I, I loved talking with integrated pest management people, but I don't have fire ants in Boston.
Right.
And that
I,
person only covered Metro Nashville. I'm like, it's you're a great person. It's very nice talking to you. I'm never going to work with you. You're never going to work with me. So we've moved away from that model, and now it's the Manningtons, it's the FMX, the Ops Heroes, it's the Tremcodes, it's the larger brands, the Fastenal, folks who are the Tarkets. It's larger organizations that can put you in contact with their regional person.
so,
Likewise, last year we had Homeland Security have a booth. And it's not that we don't appreciate our security folks who are in our industry, but if we're a national organization, we should have the people that are telling us what to do. Like you helped coordinate and get some talks in with FEMA. Why not? So these are some of the changes that we're implementing and some of the things that we're really excited about that we're starting to make some really good progress on some of our early initiatives. And we're always open for suggestions. If you think there's a gap in something we're bringing, please let us know. We're doing our best. As you know, facilities, we wear many hats. So we're trying to create curriculum that's going to hit all as much as we can about what you work on. Whether it's, oh my God, we have microplastics in turf fields, but I really need to focus on lead in drinking water, and I have new condensing boilers that can't discharge into my septic system. Okay, I can't teach one class on that. So how do we break that out? The other hyper focus that we've had, and a lot of associations have been doing it too, is as an associ as a working group, we tend to not have a lot of opportunities to receive quality leadership training. So that's a category that we're really hyper focused on right now. A whole curriculum based off of leadership, based off of managing people, based off of leading people, HR, how to have those hard conversations with a struggling employee. It's those kinds of conversations that we're bringing to the table now that we've had some in there in the past for sure. But we're really getting it organized and making sure that we're putting our best foot forward for everyone. Because as you know, budgets are tight. It's hard for people. So not everyone has the ability to come to our annual conference. I get that. I was lucky enough when I worked as a director that my district supported my professional development. Uh, that and sometimes I supported my own, and I would just take a vacation time and just travel myself because it was important for me as a professional. This year's the first year that we're offering attendee scholarship opportunities. We've seen the issues with budgeting right now and professional development being tight. So what we're doing is we've baked it into to our sponsors' booths. So thank you to our sponsors yet again, them helping us out. So it's created a line item that we can leverage some funds to pay for either registration or to pay for a hotel. And there's an application form up on our webpage. So if people are in a community that's struggling and there's no other way that they would get to our event without getting a little help, apply. We have a committee that's going to review applications based on need. And we hope that that helps some communities that potentially in the past haven't been able to attend. We wish we could do it for free, but we're struggling like everyone else is. The nonprofit world is not doing as well as it used to. Things are tight. Things are tight for us too. So we're trying to do the best we can and try and really make sure we're bringing some great opportunities for folks across the country.
So, Kenny, speaking back to the relationships with vendors on a national level, and the K-12 reps that are nationwide, not area, regional, or state specific. Um, that brings up a couple of different things in my head. So I've received some feedback that the state organizations, some a state organization or two, are concerned that we would try and take their vendors from their conferences, and that's not the case at all.
Yeah, that's not the case at all. And anytime, that's a great question, Chris. Thank you. Anytime that we're mapping things out, we try to be really good neighbors. So we make sure that we're not competing against different events that are being hosted. Like your event was in the fall.
Right,
Charlie's event was in the fall, which is why we're having it in the spring.
right,
Same for Washington, D.C. I reached out to Virginia. I reached out to other folks. I'm like, hey, here's what our plans are. Next year, we're targeting Colorado for May, early May. I reached out to the executive director of Colorado, Al Asbo, to just say, hey, we're thinking about going to Denver. I'm just letting you know. We want to make sure it works out. We're not going to conflict with your event. Um, there's only it's a double-edged sword, right? That there's only enough professional development bandwidth for a person to leave their district. So we're not trying to steal people away from state association events. That's not our intent. We don't want 50 people from Missouri. I'd love to see 50 people from Missouri, but if we have 5 to 10 from each state of the people who are really, really passionate about learning, about doing better, and about figuring out how leadership works, like DC was great. We had 25 different states in attendance in DC.
mm-hmm,
Perfect blend because then you get to see what everyone else is doing and figure out what's going on. From our vendor standpoint, we don't want to steal anyone's vendors. And what we're seeing more so is that a lot of larger vendors, corporate won't sponsor a booth and they rely on the local people to host booths in those states.
mm-hmm,
And where we stand on things, Chris, is that go host it at the state level. I don't want to steal your money, and I'm making the price points so that we're affordable for everyone. There's enough meat on the bone for everyone, and we want to make sure that everyone gets a bite at it. So
right.
that's part of our every decision we make. We want to make sure, and that's part of the reason why we changed away from the shared model. It seemed as though we were a direct competition with the people we were co-branding an event with because they had two events for their association, then they had a third event for our association. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how many times people can leave Tennessee and go to a Tennessee event in one year. Um,
Right.
so that was part of the process and the philosophy and the discussions we had when we were doing our strategic plan, doing our SWOT analysis, things of that nature, of how can we best support our state affiliates but still have a national event. So it's that fine balancing act. And if there are vendors that are looking to connect with state delegates and not nationally, let me know. That's part of my job too, is that I'm a dot connector. So if you're a regional person who handles the entire Northeast, you're not the right fit for us. You only handle 5 states. You're not big enough. But I work with the people in Maine, I work with people in New Hampshire, with Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. I can connect you with those associations. So even though we're not working with you directly, I want to support those affiliate states and figure out, hey, here's a good vendor that does, roof maintenance. Reach out to them, connect them. So that's some of the other things that we're trying to do behind the scenes as well, is that if there is someone that doesn't cover that big, cast that big net for nationally, doesn't mean that we can't work with you and help you. Because I'll send them to Kansas, I'll send them to Texas. If that's your bread and butter state, I know someone there, and we can put you in contact with them because it's going to benefit the association as well. Having someone that's a good vendor partner as part of their group.
So before I go with my counterpoint to that,
Yeah,
one of the most impressive things to me was that we had that gentleman in DC from, was it South Dakota or North Dakota?
North Dakota. Yeah,
Yeah, that was amazing.
yeah. I
Uh,
reached out to him because that was very courageous. Was it Josh? I think it was Josh. Uh, it, North Dakota has no association.
right,
So he came in to just learn as much as he could. And what we're trying to do is figure out how to help folks like him. There's a gentleman in India in Illinois that's trying to put something together. The group in Maine, they're struggling a little bit, so we're trying to do some strategic planning with them to help them out. So there's different groups across the country that we're trying to figure out how to help them out. Like Wisconsin does a great job with their Facilities Masters Conference. That doesn't mean that Wisconsin can't help out North Dakota.
well, so that's and not to say anything bad about the Facility Midwest Master Conference. I went to it 2 years ago, and I ran into the same thing that you ran into. That there were vendors there that I'm never going to see again.
Right.
I asked them about coming as far south as Kansas, and some were like, "Yeah, we could do it, but it's not our bread and butter." So I did learn things there, and it was a wonderful learning experience. But as far as the vendor outreach, it just wasn't the right match.
Right. It's just not the right fit. And that's a great point. And that's some of the things that I've noticed going to as many events as I've been to in the past 3 or 4 months is that the people I go around and talk to are the ones that we already have relationships with, the national vendors and the local ones that they're all great and they're doing a great job. And some of them have cool new technology, but I'm not buying a paint striping machine from someone who is only based out of Oklahoma.
Right.
And that's me. That's fine. I'm executive director for the national. I would expect that going to state events. I would not expect that going to a national event. And that's what we've moved away from. So, and that was a tough financial decision because it limited our pool of people that we could reach out to sell booths to. So I think short term, we made the hard decision as a board to move in this direction. Long term, I think it was the smartest thing that we could do, which I'm thankful that we moved in this direction because it changes the whole mechanics of the event. Even the vendor partners that came to our event were just they were so grateful for the attendees spending time on the floor and walking.
Mm-hmm.
Attendees really walked the floor, and my response to them is, of course they did. These people had to apply for approval to get airfare from their communities and go to professional development out of their state. They're not coming just because, oh, it's a free trip. They're coming because they want to learn, they want to be part of the conversation. And it really raised the level of discussions we had, even off meetings, around the lunch table or even at the local bar at night. Um, the people that were there were all super, super sharp. So as a building geek, I loved it because I jumped from conversation to conversation. We would be talking about so many different things, and everyone learned and pulled away from it. It's exciting. I mean, I'm biased. Don't get me wrong. I'm very biased, being part of the group that runs it. But having gone to enough of these things, it's kind of nice to know that I'm going to show up and have really smart conversations, and sometimes difficult conversations, because we come from different political backgrounds, different geographical footprints, and things of that nature. No one's ever inappropriate with each other, but I think it sparks the important conversations we need to have to move the needle forward so that way everyone can do better and
Right.
everyone puts what's important first. And every time I go to our events now, that's who I'm seeing in the room. There's no one showing up with their golf clubs because
Right.
it's a free trip. People are going, and granted, I like a bizcation as much as the next person. We're going to have some really fun events. This year, we've added on, as you guys know, a scholarship component that on the Sunday, the travel day, I think from 6:30 to 8:30, we're going to be at the Top
Okay.
Golf in Kansas City for our scholarship to help raise money so we can give scholarships to kids who are going on, whether it's to a college or whether they're going into the trades. We're trying to help some struggling families still have a little extra money to not extra money, but just have some funds to help support their kids going on to continuing education. So we've not done that for years. I think last time we had a golf tournament was in Myrtle Beach 10 years ago or something. So we're adding some fun components to it as well. Last year we had a casino night, which was super fun, as part of our banquet dinner. So we try to balance off that work first, little bit of fun second, just because, you're away from home, you're away from your family, away from work. It shouldn't just be 1,000% work. The work has to get done first. So the
Right.
training, the talking, the tours, all the components that we build into this to open up people's eyes to different ways of doing things, that's amazing. And then after the the breakout sessions are done, the learning still continues. And I think that's honestly me, that's where I find the magic happens when people get to sit down and just have a conversation. It's talking from the folks from Alaska last time they were at one of our events. It's funny. I'm like, so what's the biggest thing you struggle with at your school? So like, well, sometimes we have to shut down the playgrounds because we'll have a bear or a moose. I'm like, I don't have that problem. They're like, yeah, we don't mind the bears. We go shoo them away, but a moose, you don't go shoo away a moose. That'll kill you. So it's like, huh,
Wow.
I did not think of that. That was not on my bingo card of weird stuff that facilities people have to deal with.
Right.
It's a great opportunity, and I love it. And for any associations that award, we're trying to be a competition with you. That's the farthest thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to be good, a great supporting role at the national level to support affiliate states, and to help you out any way we can. Which is why I was on the road so much. If someone wants me to speak at a conference, if my schedule allows, I'll be there. I'll teach 3 classes. I'll hand out sandwiches. I'll run the registration booth. I don't care.
I've
Uh,
seen it
yeah,
firsthand.
yeah. You've seen it firsthand. Yeah, I ran your. What did I run? I ran your cornhole tournament.
Right.
Yeah, that was great. Taught three
That's
classes
a,
during the
that's a
day and
good
then
time.
cornhole.
That's a good time.
It
Hey,
was a good
the
time.
other piece to having those relationships at the national level with our vendor partners is, not that influence might be the wrong word, but like with the architectural firms, we're able to give feedback to the right people that can actually influence things to happen throughout the nation. Uh,
Yep.
Architects never think about building a room specifically for charging auto scrubbers and all your equipment that you need to operate that school. I was just in a school earlier today with an architect, and we had our auto scrubber and a chariot vacuum cleaner right next to each other in the hallway. I was like, yeah, we have no place to put those things and charge them, so they just
Mm,
stay here. And I was like, architects just don't think about that stuff. And he was like, man, I can't believe that they don't have consultants that they call on in your field to know these things, because they don't know that they're not in the day to day role. One of
right.
the most impressive things I saw, and this is kind of a side note, that school we toured in Chicago, the second school,
The high school, the new high
yeah,
school, the STEM
yeah,
school. Yeah.
the STEM school. The way they have their HVAC set up in their mechanical rooms blew my mind and
Yeah.
changed the way I will guide a building to be built.
Super smart. And there's different for people that haven't been to our events over the past couple of years, I'm a big proponent for touring schools as part of our events. So in Nashville, we toured Metro Nashville High School. They were kind enough to open their doors for us. Leadership Summit in Chicago, we partnered with Green Healthy Schools and we toured a couple schools there. This year, we went to American University, which is a 100% sustainable campus. And then we went over to the John Lewis Elementary School, which is Triple Crown, LEED Platinum, Well Platinum, Zero Energy Elementary School, right in the heart of DC. And as building, honestly, as facilities people, we are horrible guests. We tear things apart like, whoa, look at that door panel over there. That was a stupid finish to choose. Who put the wax on this? You're not supposed to wax. We just walk around and tear buildings apart. But while we do it, we learn and we share. And especially when you have a diverse group of people there, like we had 80 or 90 people touring an elementary school from 25 different states. Oh, we don't do that in Oregon. We do this. Oh, out in Texas, we do that. Oh, and San Antonio, we're doing this. It's really fun to get people who are building geeks like us that look at those kinds of things. But yeah, the equipment piece, that's a horrible one. And sometimes the architects get it right, but then it gets lost in the mechanical drawings. So you might have a closet that can fit your auto scrubber, and then they put two huge, circulator pumps in there with VFD drives and everything else. So now your closet's gone because you had to fit mechanicals in it.
Or
Oh,
an
we didn't have a
electrical panel.
mechanical. Oh, we didn't have a mechanical room. Like, too bad.
Yep, or an electrical cabinet that you got to keep clearance around,
Yep. Yep.
and it takes half the room up. But yeah, it's just
Yeah, I'm excited about next week with the National Council, because there are people who are the decision makers in individual states regarding construction. I believe DLR Group is going to be there too from a design standpoint. And we're having those conversations, but what they're going to do is they're going to be sharing lessons learned from their point. We had an early call with a couple of people who are going to be on a panel that I'm on about preventive maintenance training. I didn't realize that West Virginia, when the state builds a new school for West Virginia, part of the school package is that they get 2 years of maintenance. So that way their staff can shadow and work beside the maintenance company to learn how to maintain the building properly. So it's
interesting.
like on-site training slash support slash we're going to make sure you know how to maintain this building and we're going to maintain it for 2 years. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow.
So if other people can share that, like if California's got a really good protocol, I'm in Massachusetts and I've worked with the Mass School Building Authority for years. I love their program. But they leverage a penny of the sales tax, and that's how they pay for billions of dollars of school construction. Even with that, and even with their really robust program, I built 3 schools with them when I was a facilities director. Amazing projects, but it's construction. So there's, 95% of the building is great, but you spend all of your time on that 5% that you
Right.
just struggle. You just struggle. So yeah, I think we're positioning ourselves really well. I'm proud of our board of directors. We have a very diverse board that's spread across the country. And part of our board is set up and structured to understand that um, we have open and honest conversation. We've built a really good layer of trust. And some of those conversations are everyone, just so people know, everyone on the board is a volunteer. I'm the only paid person and I'm part-time. So everyone's doing it for the greater good. And everyone is stretched thin. So what will happen is if someone gets a new job or someone's like they've overpromised and don't have the ability to deliver, something's coming out of their family. No harm, no foul. We appreciate you doing that. But we're going to have to ask you to step aside from the board. You can serve on special teams. You can run the registration desk. There's a lot of things you can do. But if you don't have the bandwidth right now for us, that's okay. We have other people that do. And a lot of times you'll see boards that just nominate the person because, it's oh, Billy's been around forever. Billy's a good guy. And Billy shows up and Billy is a good guy. Doesn't do anything, but he's a good guy. I think the national board has done a really good job of maneuvering those hard conversations and letting everyone know everyone that's here that's working and supporting our association is doing it for the right reasons. No one's doing it because they want to add letters on their resume. They're doing it because they want to help kids and teachers and because their hearts are in it. And it's really, really exciting for me as I report to you to have people who are passionate about what they're doing. And that's some of the stuff that carries over into our conversations with national groups. It opens the doors for people to realize, our hearts are in it for the right reasons. So yeah, I'm excited. You'll probably tell from the tone of my voice, and it's one of those things. It's really, really cool that we have an opportunity to make such a difference. We really do.
We've got a lot going on, and I can't imagine a year from now when we look back and see everything that we've got in place. a year down the road,
Oh yeah.
it's going to be night and day.
Yeah, it will be night and day. And the past couple of years have been tricky. So in DC, no one escaped the impact of tariffs. No one, us included. So we had several large vendor partners who were so unsure with the tariffs at the time. They're like, "I'm sorry, we can't have a booth. We've frozen all of our marketing dollars because we don't know the cost of metal to make our doorknobs. We don't know the cost of this. We don't know the cost of that." So it's a struggle, but I think we're being very prudent with the budget. And I think part of our vision and part of our goal is that we have really good vendor partners that can carry a lot of the burden. And we try to keep the price points on our members as affordable as possible. And I know that some folks that register for an event, they think it's a lot of money for registration. Our We lose money on every registration. We don't even cover the cost of food. You know that because you're on the committee. And that's okay. That's okay. But we try to get as close to break even as we can because nonprofits still need to generate revenue to keep the doors open, to keep the web page running, to do all the cool things we're doing. So just it's when you're looking at the numbers and the optics, just realize that what do we spend in DC? If you're at a hotel right now, it's between 50 and $60 for a pre-made sandwich. The cost of food is astronomical. And you know this from running your state associations. So it's finding the right location, it's finding the right spot, it's finding easy in and out from the airport. There's a lot of metrics that go into deciding where we're going, and we're excited to be in Kansas City. So, and you're supposed to let me know where the best barbecue is in town, Chris, being that you're close by.
The list is long. The
The
list is
list.
long. But
Well,
yes, we will have some stuff come out about that. For
all
sure.
right.
I
That's
would
important,
keep an eye on the newsletter. There will
right?
be some stuff in there.
All right. I like that. I like that.
So, so 5 years down the road, where do you see this organization, Ken?
Um, 5 years down the road, I see us tripling in size with the number of registered members. Um, I see us having a permanent seat on some federal uh, boards, much like we do now. And I see us being able to be in a place financially that we can support states a little bit better. Whether it's we figure out how to reduce registration fees, how to provide scholarships, how to provide resources. That's really the thing that we're pushing now. We are going to be I'm going to be doing some investigations with the National Council School Facilities. Brendan wants to figure out how we can do some more online learning and some training on a national level. So it's like, all right, so much like Charlie's rolling out the preventative maintenance program in Missouri, it'd be great for us to be able to offer that up to our members nationally as well. So figuring out bigger projects that are going to educate end users.
So it's something, you know how my mind works, and I know we're in the middle of a webinar, but I'm just going to share. So something that just popped into my head is if we're financially stable enough to offer scholarship programs specifically to states that don't have an organization. You know,
Absolutely.
Kansas awards $3,500 scholarships every year, $35,000. It's a lot of money. But it would be wonderful to see states like I don't think Nebraska has an organization. We already talked about South Dakota and North Dakota.
Yep.
They don't have one. So to
Yep.
offer something in those areas and try and help those people out too.
Well, you know where my heart is. Being a licensed plumber by trade, I'd rather buy every kid graduating of Oak Tech School that's going into the trades a $500 Home Depot gift card so they can buy Carhartt and Milwaukee or DeWalt tools. We do a really good job of supporting kids going on to continuing academics. I think there's a gap in helping kids who are entering the trades, and those are our kids. Those are the people that are going to work on our teams or take over our jobs. So how can we help figure out to support them more? And it could be partnerships with a major brand. Like, hey, by the way, NSPMA is partnering with whomever, and we're going to give you X dollars towards tools.
Right.
The tools are not cheap, as you know. So it's things like that that I think having a little more financial stability, it opens up so many doors of different opportunities we can do that we can take part of. Moving forward, it provides us, an avenue to have a full board retreat to do strategic planning, to hire additional consultants to help support our vision and our mission. There's a lot of there's a lot of things behind the house that we can implement that would bring us up to that next level. It's in 5 years we won't be the same size as International ASBO, but that's a pretty good target for us. They're an industry leader, and I reference them, and I'm thankful for my relationship and friendship with their executive director, because they're a good target. Do I see us having an event with 1,500 people in attendance? I hope not. I think it muddies the water a little bit on the conversations. I think it doesn't allow for really meaningful interaction. That's me personally. I like the 150 to 500 size of an event, of having the right people. And that's kind of dovetails into our current philosophy. We don't want to flood the floor with people for the sake of having bodies. We want to bring the right people to the floor so that way the conversations and the education and what people are bringing back is at a very high level. Um, so yeah, I mean, sky's the limit. It's just like my wife always tells me, I want to be on a speedboat and everyone else wants to be on a cruise ship. So I need to find a really fast cruise ship. So
Right.
that's what we're doing now. It is, I got to tone back mine and just kind of let it roll out there. But so far it's been exciting, and I think we're heading in the right direction, which I'm thankful for.
I agree. You've done some great work, Ken.
We
Ken, you want to give us the date of the conference?
Yeah, you
And
can go. The great point, Greg. You can go to our website. The conference is going to be April 26th through the 28th. The Marriott downtown Kansas City. The Top Golf event is on the 26th. That's Sunday night's a travel event. And both Kansas and Missouri are having a day of certification on the day after our conference. Separate registration will be going out to those two states. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. If anyone has something they'd love to share, if someone wants to teach a class, we have that option to fill out a form and request up online. We have, I think, 26 or 30 people have already submitted, which I'm excited about. So our committee is going to kind of go through them all and figure out which ones fill the holes that we're trying to look to fill the best. Because I want to make sure that we're bringing the right speakers and the right content, not just the person who has the biggest checkbook. That's not how we operate. So if people think that's going to get you a spot, I apologize. That's not how we work.
One thing that you left out, you mentioned that we'd like to tour on Monday the 27th. That, if I'm correct, we're doing tours of the Kaufman Center for Performing Arts.
Yes.
That Monday. Okay.
Yep. Kaufman Center Performing Arts, and their facilities director is a former schools director, is he not?
Yes, yes. He was the school director for K-12 director for I want to say 20 years.
Okay.
Um, his name escapes me off the top of my head. I'm the one that brought it up, and
That's all right.
but
But you know about the Kaufman Center. I mean, it's a beautiful, gorgeous, large performance facility.
it's gonna be impressive.
Yeah, and they follow best practice because they have a financial interest in making sure that the building doesn't shut down. So you'll see the filter racks, you'll see the mechanical rooms, you'll see the electrical, you'll see all the good stuff that drives a massive facility like that and what it takes to clean it and turn it around. And that's what we're hoping to see.
Well, it's impressive because you wouldn't think about it, but when I was speaking with him, and I was getting ready to look his name up, but anyways, um, it operates the same format as a K-12 in that they have their performance season, and then they get like a 2 month window where they get stuck time to do things, and then you got another season coming up.
Yeah, fresh coat of
But
paint, fresh coat of wax, get
right,
ready.
very similar, just minus the thousands of kids.
Yeah, and it's walking distance for people that want to walk right from the hotel. And the location downtown is it's perfect. Walking distance to different restaurants, bars, different different locations that are historical spots and stuff. So I'm really excited about it. Plus, I love
And
good barbecue.
their director's name is Bill Miller.
That Bill Miller. That's yes,
Forgive me.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Well, very good.
Awesome.
Greg, can you think of anything we missed?
No, I think it was, we covered a lot of things. I want to encourage everyone to go to nspma.com, check out our website, look through it. Be sure you get your hotel rooms, be sure you get registered, do all those things as soon as possible, because I believe we're going to really fill up pretty fast. And it's going to be a great conference. One thing I always tell our vendors is you may not get 500 people come by your booth, but you might get 30 states of decision makers who come by, and you expand your capacity and your territory through speaking to people at decision making level positions. And that's very important.
That's a
And
great point.
so anyway, and also we'll just let everybody know, look forward to seeing you. And Ken and Chris, thank you for being here today. I just want to remind you again, go to nspma.com, check us out, and be part of 2026 conference coming up.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time. Be well, everyone. Happy
Thank
holidays.
You.
All right,
Can't wait to
thank
hear
you.
about DC.